Hey everybody, and welcome to our first video lecture on persuasive messages and persuasion. In this video lecture, we're going to focus on the essential elements of persuasive messages. But before we dive into those essential elements, let's first ask an even more basic question. What is a persuasive message? Now, we can of course answer that question in a wide variety of ways, but for me, the most compelling and succinct answer to that question, what is a persuasive message, is the following. If you're trying to motivate action, but your reader lacks an inclination or an obligation to act, then you're writing a persuasive message. In other words, if you're trying to get somebody to do something, but they don't want to or they don't have to, then you're writing a persuasive message. Now, given that definition, persuasive messages are defined by both content and context. In other words, one person's routine message is another person's persuasive message. Think about that idea in the context of this class, or really any class. If I want you to produce a piece of writing, I can simply ask you to do it, or even, if I'm feeling particularly rude, command you to do it. And that's not because I'm a mean or unfeeling person. It's because I have power within the context of the class. On the other hand, if you want me to produce a piece of writing, you've got to persuade me to do it. Because again, in the context of the class, you do not have structural power, right? So motivating the same action can require different types of approaches, even different types of messages. That's what I mean when I say that persuasive messages are defined by both content and context. Now let's dive into the four basic elements that define all persuasive messages. The first element is this. You must begin your persuasive message by identifying the problem or need that your proposal, your message seeks to solve. But you can't just focus on any old problem or need. You need to focus on how your message, your proposal solves or addresses one of your readers' problems or needs. Remember, and we'll talk about this more in the future, persuasion is all about aligning your goals, your wants, your desires with the interests of your audience, right? And that's how we begin that persuasive process, by framing our message, our request, our proposal around our readers' interests, problems, and needs. That brings us to one of the catchphrases for this class. When you're beginning a persuasive message, remember, you want to lead with need. Whose need? The reader's need. You want to show how your proposal, your idea, aligns with, addresses, or solves one of the reader's problems or needs. So, once you've begun your message by identifying your reader's problem or need, you then, of course, want to state your solution to your reader's problem or need. Okay? You identify the problem, then you propose a solution. Once you've proposed a solution, you then must support your proposed solution with reason and evidence. And we'll be talking more in the future about how you can effectively approach and structure a compelling, reasoned, logical argument. And then, finally, you want to end your persuasive message with a call to action and with goodwill. Now, a few quick words about how you can approach both your call to action and your goodwill statement. So when it comes to your call to action, you've got a couple options at your disposal. So on the one hand, your call to action might involve implementing your proposal or solution in its entirety. In other words, your call to action can be identical to your proposal or solution. On the other hand, your call to action might involve implementing merely the first step toward your proposal or solution. Maybe you want to meet and discuss your proposal further. That's a totally valid call to action. Maybe you want to allocate some money, let's say $2,000, toward implementing the first stage of your solution. That's a valid call to action as well, right? You've got a lot of options at your disposal when you're framing your call to action, but just make sure that you conclude your persuasive message by motivating action in some way. As for the goodwill, you want to make sure that you're aiming to make a good impression on your reader because, as we'll discuss more in the future, people are more likely to accept a proposal when they like the person proposing it. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this quick video lecture on the essential elements of persuasive messages. Please make sure that you watch the other video lectures on more advanced techniques for writing effective persuasive messages. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.